Hey everybody, you're tuning in to Mad About It. I'm your host, Becky. Becky with the good hair. That's right, it's me. Today, whew, today we're gonna talk about Transtrenders, and the podcast. There's a lot of topics that it's like, boy, I wish I didn't have to talk about this. But it's not called like, these are a few of my favorite things. Mad about it, so it's like, transgenders. I'm pretty mad about transgenders. Usually, the way that I'll write the episode is that I'll explain various things and then come to a conclusion at the end, But the truth is that frickin' nobody gets there. So maybe I should just start with the conclusion right from the get-go. And especially for this topic, I think the upfront conclusion might be the best way to go, and that's that I don't think transtrenders exist. So if you're like most people, you might be wondering, what the fuck is a transtrender? I've never heard of this word in my life. Yeah, it's a weird word. It's not a real word. It might be. It might be like a type of salamander, but the thing is like a transtrender. The definition of a transtrender is, drum roll please. Well, actually, hold on. So, again, it's not a real word, so I had to look at, not real word dictionaries. Are you familiar with not real word dictionaries? The one that I am looking at right now, which is not a real dictionary, is called Urban Dictionary. And Urban Dictionary is just about my least favorite dictionary in the world. It's just about the dumbest shit I ever heard of in my life. It's basically a high school dictionary. That's what it should be called. It should be called High School Dictionary. But instead they call it Urban, which the top definition on UrbanDictionary.com. Okay. A transtrender is a person, usually between the ages of 9 and 18, who calls themselves a transgender person because they think it makes them look cool or special. Transtrenders never experience dysphoria, transphobia, or oppression, and often identify as otherkin. They are usually ridiculous, impractical, neo-pronouns or noun self-pronouns. Often the gender they identify with isn't even a valid gender, e.g. star gender or fern gender. I am fern gender, so I have to interject. I am personally offended. Transtrenders are basically gender unconforming cisgender people pretending to be transgender and using different pronouns because they think it makes them special, and they want to be able to say that they are oppressed by being in the transgender community because they think it makes them look cool. Transtrenders are incredibly transgenders, in this person's opinion, transgenders are incredibly disrespectful to real transgender people, making a mockery of what transgender people experience and validating the problems and hurt that real transgender people face, and turning these people's identity into a fashion trend. So, that is the top definition on Urban Dictionary. Again, not a real dictionary. Should be called Urban Dick. And then, so there's 1,000 upvotes and 150 downvotes. Only 150 downvotes. I bet it's mostly people that are not trans that read that, because I don't know a lot of trans people that spend time on Urban Dictionary. So let's go to a different place. Let's go to a different stupid, the Rational Wiki. Oh goodness. Oh no, I'm so scared. Am I though? Okay. Transmedicalism is a term for a wide range of beliefs in the transgender community that are critical of transgender people who haven't medically transitioned or don't experience major dysphoria. Many transmedicalists, or transmeds for short, focus on gatekeeping. According to a self-definition by the subreddit Transmedicalism, the term describes trans people and allies who believe that only those who experience gender dysphoria are transsexual, transgender, and that gender dysphoria, transsexualism is a medical condition. Okay. So basically what this boils down to is that when you look up what Transtrenders are, there is kind of a snowball of what happens. You get Transtrenders, and then you go, okay, well, if there's a difference between real trans people and fake trans people, then what's the difference between real people and real trans people and fake trans? I'm stuttering so much because I'm pissed. Okay. Okay. So basically, there are people that think that they can determine what a real trans person is, and there are people that think that they can't determine what a real trans person is. And these people, predictably, don't get along. Some have termed them transmeds or true scum. Some people have termed the opposite, too cutes, or Transtrenders. And here's the deal. It all kind of boils down to gatekeeping as a sort of idea where there are some people that are tarnishing the trans identity, they're tarnishing the trans community with their narcissistic, impermanence. And then there are people that are like, I should be able to explore gender without being shit on all the time. And I guess those people are called too cutes. And here's the deal. This is a crazy topic. This is a crazy topic not because it is a crazy topic, but because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Have you seen my you can't see it. You can't see a podcast episode, but have you listened to my radical feminists and LGBTQ Jesus fucking Christ. Have you listened to my radical feminist episode about the TERFs? Basically, this is, I hate to say it, but this is the opposite of what a TERF is. This is like a turf on the inside. This is an internal turf. Somebody who is trans who says, listen, I don't like it when people are trans in a way that I wasn't, and it fucking hurts my feelings when you're so dumb, and I wish that people would make less dumb decisions. But the fact is that you can't control what other people are doing. You can only control what you do. And if somebody's trans and is behaving in a way that you disagree with, that's just none of your fucking business. It's got nothing to do with you, and it's got nothing to do with your identity. All trans people are not the same. And honestly, this ideology of you have to be this certain type of trans with this many surgeries, with this many things, and you can't be non-binary and be trans, and you can't be this and be that, and you can't be this and you can't be... What the fuck? It doesn't help anybody. Like, the whole point of all this is that we are trying to be ourselves. So you can't be somebody who's breaking all the rules to try to be themselves and say, hey, you over there, you look like a fucking asshole. Stop being yourself. You can't do it. Are there some really legitimate arguments against Transtrenders? Absolutely. Are there some really legitimate arguments against feminism? Absolutely. Are there some really legitimate arguments against, like, fucking everything? Yeah, that's how the world works. Everything is very mixed, everything is very gray. Nothing is clear. The only thing that's clear to me is that nobody can decide for anybody else whether or not somebody else is trans. It's none of your fucking business. You can't be a senior in the trans community. You can be a person who's been trans for a long time and is senior, but that doesn't make you, like, more or less anything than somebody who's just starting out exploring their gender identity. We're all in the same fucking planet. It doesn't make a difference. I think, like, the number one argument that I kind of was like, I agree with this, was, oh, we have to gatekeep against transtrenders because if we don't, there will be some sort of, like, you know, huge influx of detransitioners that, write op-eds about how being trans is bullshit and how their life was miserable, and here's the deal. I've read op-eds about detransitioners whose lives were miserable, and some of those people were just, you know, they just made the wrong decision. Some of those people had to detransition because of family reasons, because of personal reasons, because of employment reasons, because of financial reasons, circumstances that had nothing to do with their gender identity. And whether or not somebody detransitions does not, you know, it doesn't mean anything about their trans identity unless they decide that that's what it means. Some people detransition, quote unquote, they just stop taking hormones for a variety of reasons. Some people are allergic to the hormones. Like, keep in mind that when you're transgender, you are taking a medicine that is your hormones, and some people are just allergic to medicines. So, you know, you have to find a medicine that works for you. And also, other health problems. There are a variety of other health problems that can get in the way of somebody transitioning. And, also, family. Some people's families never come around. And it is nobody's place to tell anybody that they should cut their family out of their life, for the sake of their gender identity, unless that's what they choose. If they want to, and if it's better for them to do that, then that's what they should do. But some people, it's not better for them to do that. So, why is it your business to judge either which way? Again, all of this is either coming from the perspective of an outsider trans person, or just an outsider person who's just a person. You know, I gotta be honest, all the people I know that are most upset about transtrenders are cis allies. And those are the people that are so upset about transtrenders. Those are the ones that are like, oh god, the transtrenders are coming. Like, what? Nobody's worried about transgenders who's actually trans. And if you're actually trans and you're worried about transgenders, you're internally transphobic. That's the only explanation. Because if you look at this fucking, I mean, again, it's a fucking Urban Dictionary. It's not a good thing. If you look at the freaking Urban Dictionary for this, neo-pronouns, fern gender, special, just the number of times they use the word special. Let's clear the air here real quick. There's fucking nothing special about being trans. Fucking nothing. I know that a lot of people are so much happier when they are transitioned that they feel blessed. They feel like their experience is a blessing. I absolutely feel the same way. but that doesn't necessarily make you special. It's not the same thing. You don't feel special. You don't feel cool. You don't feel trendy. It's not a fashion. I'm just about the least fashionable motherfucker in the world. I buy my socks at Walmart, and my shoes, and I buy everything at Walmart. You know, I don't buy things, and I am not trendy, and I'm not fashionable. And you know, honestly, it's just like all of this is transphobic. Everything about this definition of transtrender is transphobic. Non-binary people are trans, and they don't need to be excluded in a different category. You do not need to have medical intervention in order to be trans. You don't. And you also don't need to have any surgeries in order to be trans. And you don't need any of these things. Of course, these are the same arguments that people use against, you know, for things like the bathroom bill. Like, well, a regular guy can just say, hey, I'm a lady, I'm going to the ladies' bathroom. And supposedly when he's in there, he's going to cause havoc, you know. And then it's like, there's a lot of things at play here. I don't know a lot of cis men that are willing to identify as female. And I don't know a lot of bathroom incidents in general. I just, you know, I bet people get mugged and raped in the bathroom, like, completely irrelevant of whether or not they're supposed to be in there. So, I don't think it has anything to do with anything. And, I don't think whether or not somebody detransitions has anything to do with whether or not they're trans. I don't think, whether or not somebody uses weird pronouns that you wouldn't use has anything to do with whether or not they're really trans. This is just kind of a sore subject to me because the trans guy group, you know, some of them are like very, very chill, and some of them are like, ugh, non-binary. You know, like they just roll their eyes. It's like, you shouldn't be rolling your eyes in non-binary. And it is a bit frustrating. I do think that there are people that are, you know, using trans rights and using trans things for their own personal gain. Example, just a completely irrelevant example that's really been bothering me. Hosier, like, did a random shitty gig with a trans flag on his back. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, this makes no sense. And when he said that his song was about gay marriage, I was like, fuck you to death. This is like, you know, like, what the fuck? Like, that's not about gay marriage. Take Me to Church is not about gay marriage. Fuck Me to Death might be about gay marriage. That's literally, like, what my vows will be. You know, but so, I don't understand why people are, getting away with trivializing trans rights all the time in certain circles, but like, people that are willing to tell someone to their face that they are trans or that they are gender nonconforming in some way are somehow, you know, the real problem. That's not true. I posted something about how transgenders are bullshit on the Facebook page, and somebody was like, no, there was this person that I knew that totally just, like, was trans just for attention, and then they stopped, and it's like, you know, honestly, like, if you are trans, and you has come out as trans, and then you change your mind because of various other reasons, it doesn't matter what your reason for changing your mind is. People are going to lose their shit and say that you're a transgender. Like, no matter what happens. And that's not cool. That's not okay. I don't know. Have you seen I don't know. I'm obsessed with the documentary about Matt Kroc, the Matt and Janae, it's Transformer. I'm fucking obsessed with that movie. And the main reason I'm obsessed with it is because you see someone who detransitions a lot, and you can see how they are both, and it is not harmful for them to be both. It's just like a kind of a real logistical struggle for this person to live their old life and their the life that they want at the same time, because they're a bit incompatible. If you haven't seen that movie, I really recommend seeing Transformer with Matt or Janae Kroc. It's so fucking good. And I just, there are so many valid reasons to detransition, and it is nobody's business to tell anybody else how they should transition, and it's nobody's business to sort of, gatekeep who is and isn't trans. I've been thinking about doing an episode like this for a really long time, but I didn't because, honestly, I couldn't wrap my head around most of this shit, because it's nonsense. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me why somebody who is trans would turn to somebody within their own community and say, you are not valid. Because absolutely any trans person can walk on the street and be told that they aren't valid. Why would you want to do that to anyone else? What part of that experience makes you want to do it again? What the fuck is wrong with you? I understand that's how the cycle of violence works, but I tell you, I'm pissed. Take it out on microphones in a room by yourself. You don't take it out on actual other people. You know what I mean? That's fucking nonsense. And, it's just kind of a mutation of what cis people do to us, where, oh, you're not really trans unless you pass. Oh, you're not really trans unless you have all the surgeries. Oh, you're not really trans unless you have bottom surgery. Oh, you're not really trans unless you have top surgery. It's like, why are you participating in their bullshit? Why are we playing by their rules? We don't need to play by their rules other than for the fucking health insurance shit. You play by the insurance rules and then get the fuck out of there. So I don't understand. It's the same thing. It's like gay people that are like, oh, you have to get married and have kids, and you can't do any sort of alternative relationship model, and you gotta be like heteronormative. It's like, I'm literally gonna, like, all I want to do is vomit all over you when I talk. Like, listening to you talk is just like making me so nauseous. But so yeah, it's all just variations on a theme of exclusionism, and again, how do you exclude the exclusionists? You can't fucking exclude exclusionists. You have to talk to them, and you have to be like, hey, I totally get that. That's how I used to feel, but have you thought about it in this way? Have you thought about how, because I hate to be it, but, the guy that looks the most like a lesbian in my trans guy group is the one that hates lesbians the most. Maybe it's because he's so sick of getting called lesbian all the time. I bet it is. That probably pissed me off. But I tell you, the alternative is just not hating lesbians. You can just not hate lesbians and not take it as an insult to be called something that's fucking dope. So, again, choose your battles. Why you would choose to battle somebody within the community, it blows my mind. But again, it kind of seems like, I don't know. If you follow the blog, there's a lot of poems about it, but there's a fuck ton of poems about it, but people are garbage, and, you can rhyme people are garbage in a million different ways, so it's pretty fun. But, here, I have notes about this episode. I didn't cover any of them, because they're all stupid. Everything about it is stupid. I don't want to break down their arguments. They're stupid arguments. It's a stupid fucking argument. The argument is dumb. Everybody's trans enough. Everybody that is non-binary that is trans. Everybody's fucking everybody. So just get over it. Nobody needs to gatekeep. There are no fucking gates. Like, holy shit. Like, where's the gates? I guess the gates would be like getting hormones at the doctor, and that is weirdly very easy and very hard. It depends on who you are. I think if you are a female, assigned female, a birth person, you're gonna end up having a harder time convincing people. But I don't know, a lot of the trans girls I know are like, fuck you, that's not true. It was so hard for me to get my estrogen pills, so I don't know. My experience as a female-bodied person at the doctor has always been so bad. So like I just honestly, now that I'm trans, my experience at the doctor is better. So it's kind of bewildering. I think people are always worried that I'm gonna sue them or something. So also, I live in like the only part of Kentucky that has actual LGBT healthcare. There's so many trans people here, and it's because there's like only a handful of doctors that are trans friendly, and they all live here and they all treat patients here. So it's just kind of nuts. And again, I understand the worry is that there's going to be like trans kids with health problems and everybody's going to ban trans healthcare. I don't think that's going to happen. That's not a real concern. That's like such a, it's a very paranoid concern. I think that people don't understand that we're at the very beginning of trans healthcare. We're at the beginning, and it's already been going on for decades now, but it's just now getting to the point where it's like it's available, at least in your tri-state community. Most people have some sort of trans healthcare in their tri-state community. That's a huge difference from what it was in the 60s and the 70s. I'm not saying that it's starting out. I'm just saying that it has come a long way, and now we're kind of at the point where we can actually get picky about what's going on at the doctor with the trans stuff, which is kind of cool, but also like people are so worried about the detransitioner shit. They're so worried about the fucked up stories. They're so worried about people that write op-eds in the New York Times about how being trans is the worst mistake of their lives, and how their body is mutilated, and blah 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 blah, and how the healthcare system failed them. Again, these are healthcare stories. They're not necessarily trans stories. It's not necessarily about your gender identity. It's about your terrible experience in the healthcare. And you don't have to be trans to have a terrible experience in healthcare. That's the worst news that I could give you. And it's the fucking truth. You don't have to be anything to have a terrible experience in healthcare. You can just be at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong doctor and have a really fucking bad time. And yes, there are more barriers for trans people in healthcare. Nobody's arguing that. I'm just saying that if your fear about, we have to keep illegitimates out of the trans community is that there will be an epidemic of detransitioners. I hate to break it to you, but that is just like, can you please let me know what strain you're smoking? Because that is some really, really, that's like some headband sort of shit. Like, that's too much. You need to chill it with the sativas. It's too much for you, Maybe take the afternoon off. I wouldn't ever suggest a whole day, but maybe an afternoon. Or, just try on some CBD for a while. That's a way better choice. It's also legal. But yeah, you sound really high. And, I think you need to chill. Okay. God help me in this episode. Again, nobody makes it to the end, so if you made it to the end of this one, then you can get mad at me. And I have an email, you can check it out. Becky with the good hair, mai@gmail.com. BECKYWTGHMAI@gmail.com. Yeah. They didn't have any of the domains or any of the shit that I needed. Mad About It was taken for all things. Everything was taken. You know, well, I could have done Mad About It 69, I guess. But, maybe I should just do that. I already have it all set up and shit. I'm not gonna change it. Can I change, like, that name, though? Probably not. I don't fucking know anything. Alright. Okay. That's it. Ta-ta. Transtrenders don't exist. Have a good night.